Welcome, celestial members Aten Netarakin 162 and Naz on the track. Your presence brightens our cosmic circle. Through wisdom, unity, and higher frequency, we journey together. Thank you for aligning with truth, service, and love on Arcturian Council message. May our shared path awaken stars within and beyond eternally. This message begins with a shock because complacency is now more dangerous than fear. The Arcturian Council states clearly, Earth has crossed a frequency threshold, and those who feel off, restless, exhausted, or suddenly alert are not malfunctioning, they are responding accurately. The illusion of normalcy is cracking, and many will cling to it even as it collapses. If you are here, it is because your awareness is already active. This is not spiritual entertainment, it is a recall signal. The Council warns that pretending nothing is happening will create deeper internal chaos than facing the truth head-on. This year is not gentle, it is precise. And precision cuts cleanly through denial. Type I received to claim this message. The Arcturians reveal that this new year was marked as a convergence point where multiple timelines compress into fewer viable paths. Humanity is no longer drifting, it is choosing rapidly, whether consciously or not. Starseeds feel this pressure more intensely because their nervous systems are designed to register subtle shifts before they become visible events. Anxiety, sudden clarity, and intolerance for dishonesty are symptoms of alignment, not imbalance. The Council emphasizes that neutrality is no longer a safe position. Silence now has weight. Indecision now carries consequence. This is why things feel urgent without a clear reason. The reason exists beyond language. Type I am aware to claim this message. Here is the part many resist: Starseeds were not sent to awaken everyone. They were sent to stabilize collapse. The Arcturian Council states that Earth does not require mass enlightenment to survive, it requires enough coherent beings to hold balance while outdated systems fall away. You are not here to convince, save, or argue. You are here to remain regulated when others panic, to remain honest when others distort, and to remain grounded when others dissociate. This role often feels lonely by design. Isolation refines signal strength. Confusion was part of the contract. Type I remember to claim this message. The Council explains that many starseeds awaken late because early awakening would have made survival difficult in dense environments. Forgetting was not failure, it was camouflage. But now the camouflage is dissolving. Old coping mechanisms no longer work. Distractions feel hollow. Performative living feels exhausting. This is because your frequency is no longer compatible with unconscious patterns. The shock is not that things are ending, the shock is how fast they are ending. What leaves now cannot follow you forward. Type I release to claim this message. Earth's balance, according to the Arcturians, is maintained through emotional coherence more than spiritual knowledge. You do more for the planet by regulating your reactions than by consuming endless information. Fear spreads faster than truth, but calm dismantles fear at its root. When you choose not to amplify outrage, you interrupt destructive feedback loops. This is not passive, it is advanced energetic engineering. Starseeds are natural frequency regulators, even when unaware. Your presence alone alters environments. Type I anchor balance to claim this message. The Council warns that distraction will intensify this year. Noise will masquerade as urgency. Endless crises will compete for attention. This is intentional. Fragmented focus weakens collective coherence. Starseeds counter this by choosing depth over speed. Fewer inputs. Clear boundaries. Intentional rest. You are not meant to track everything, you are meant to remain clear. Overexposure is not awareness, it is depletion. Guarding your attention is now an act of service. Type I protect my energy to claim this message. Many starseeds report physical sensations, pressure in the head, heart palpitations, vivid dreams, emotional waves without obvious cause. The Arcturians confirm these are recalibration symptoms. Your body is upgrading its capacity to hold higher frequency data. Resistance increases discomfort. Trust accelerates integration. This is why rest feels essential and forced productivity feels unbearable. Your body is not betraying you, it is cooperating with evolution. Listen before it has to shout. Type I listen to claim this message. Here is a difficult truth: not everyone will come with you. The Council states that divergence is inevitable in accelerated cycles. Shared history does not guarantee shared frequency. This is not abandonment, it is alignment. Forcing compatibility now creates energetic debt later. Grief may arise, but so will relief. You are allowed to choose environments that support coherence. Survival no longer requires self-betrayal. Type I choose alignment to claim this message. The Arcturians emphasize that leadership in this era is quiet, embodied, and consistent. Loud declarations are unstable. What transforms others is watching someone live without distortion. Integrity is contagious. When you act in alignment, you give others permission to do the same. This is how systems change, not through collapse alone, but through replacement by lived example. You are more influential than you think. Type I lead by example to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now delivers a message many find uncomfortable because it dismantles the last illusion of waiting. They state that the phase of observation is over. Humanity is no longer being assessed, it is being responded to. This means reality is now mirroring internal states at accelerated speed. Delays between thought, emotion, and consequence are shortening. This is why manifestations feel chaotic instead of magical, and why avoidance backfires faster than before. Starseeds are particularly affected because their internal coherence or lack of it ripples outward more efficiently. The shock here is this: you are not being tested, you are being trusted. The universe does not speed things up for beginners. Acceleration only occurs when a being has demonstrated enough awareness to navigate consequence consciously. If your life feels like it's moving too fast, it's because your soul already proved it could. This year strips away the fantasy of preparation and replaces it with lived responsibility. The Council emphasizes that confusion is not a sign you are lost, it is a sign that outdated internal maps are being deleted. New navigation requires presence, not prediction. Those who insist on certainty will feel panic. Those who allow fluidity will feel guided. Starseeds are urged to stop asking when will it start, because it already has. The question now is whether you will move with reality or resist it and experience unnecessary friction. Alignment reduces effort. Resistance multiplies pressure. This is the physics of consciousness, not a moral judgment. Type I accept responsibility to claim this message. Now comes the midpoint shock. The Council insists must be heard clearly. Some of the chaos you see on Earth is not malfunction, it is exposure. Systems that relied on suppression, distraction, and delayed consequence can no longer hold under the incoming frequencies. What was hidden must surface before it can dissolve. This is why corruption, manipulation, and emotional volatility appear amplified. The Arcturians state bluntly that collapse does not mean failure, it means compression has reached a breaking point. Starseeds often feel overwhelmed during these phases because they can sense both the breakdown and the potential simultaneously. Holding that paradox is exhausting, but essential. You are not meant to fix the collapse. You are meant to remain coherent through it. This is the rehook. If enough stabilizers abandon the field due to fatigue or disillusionment, instability increases. Your presence matters more now than when things were calm. The Council emphasizes that withdrawal disguised as self-care can become avoidance if motivated by fear. True self-care restores capacity so you can remain present, not disappear. This year demands discernment, rest when needed, but do not numb out. Observe without absorbing. Engage without entangling. This is advanced mastery, and it is why Starseeds train through hardship rather than comfort. You were conditioned to function under pressure so you could hold clarity when others cannot. The balance of Earth is not maintained by optimism, it is maintained by regulated awareness in the midst of truth. Type I remain steady to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now addresses a silent fear many starseeds carry but rarely admit, the fear of misusing power simply by being present. You have sensed that your words, moods, and decisions influence outcomes more strongly than those around you, and this awareness has made you cautious, sometimes overly so. The Council clarifies that this sensitivity is not meant to paralyze you, it is meant to refine you. Power without awareness corrupts. Awareness without movement stagnates. You are learning the narrow path between the two. This year activates ethical mastery, where intention, emotion, and action must align or friction arises immediately. That friction is not punishment, it is feedback. The universe is now responding to microsignals, not declarations. Starseeds are urged to release the idea that impact requires scale. Small choices made from coherence reshape timelines more effectively than dramatic gestures made from distortion. You are not here to control outcomes, you are here to influence probability fields through consistency. This is why hypocrisy feels physically painful now. Your system can no longer tolerate internal contradiction. The Council notes that many starseeds will feel compelled to simplify their lives not out of minimalism, but out of energetic necessity. Fewer obligations, fewer masks, fewer compromises. Truth requires bandwidth. When you live cleanly, you transmit cleanly. Others may not understand your changes, but they will feel the effect. Remember this, power that flows through alignment leaves no residue. Power forced through fear creates debt. Choose the former repeatedly, and your path stabilizes. Type I choose alignment over control to claim this message. The Council now speaks directly about collective timelines and why some futures feel suddenly unreachable. Certain outcomes have already collapsed due to insufficient coherence to sustain them. This is not loss, it is mercy. Timelines that required mass denial, environmental disregard, or emotional suppression can no longer be energetically propped up. What remains are paths that demand participation, responsibility, and inner regulation. Starseeds often grieve timelines that dissolve because they can sense what could have been. The Arcturians acknowledge this grief as natural, but caution against dwelling there. Mourning must not become anchoring. Your task is not to resurrect abandoned futures, but to nourish viable ones. This year rewards adaptability more than loyalty to outdated visions. If a dream no longer fits your nervous system, it is not failure to release it, it is wisdom. The Council emphasizes that flexibility is a sign of strength in accelerated evolution. Rigid identities fracture under pressure, fluid ones reconfigure. This is why many are questioning long-held beliefs, careers, and roles. You are not losing yourself, you are shedding versions that cannot travel further. Trust the intelligence of what remains. When something persists despite discomfort, it carries signal. When something requires constant justification, it is already fading. The Earth's balance depends on individuals choosing honesty over nostalgia. Let what cannot come with you dissolve with gratitude. You are not abandoning the past, you are freeing energy for what must be built now. Type I release expired timelines to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now turns attention to the emotional architecture of this year, revealing a truth that challenges spiritual bypassing at every level. Suppressed emotion is no longer sustainable. The planetary field has shifted to prioritize integration over transcendence. This means feelings you once managed to avoid, grief, anger, disappointment, longing, will surface not to overwhelm you, but to be metabolized. Starseeds often learned early to stay functional in chaos by minimizing their own emotional needs. That survival skill is now obsolete. What once kept you stable will now drain you if not updated. The Council explains that emotions are not obstacles to frequency, they are conduits for it when processed honestly. Numbness blocks transmission. Hyperreactivity distorts it. Coherent feeling emotion experienced without story is the stabilizing middle path. This is why tears may come without narrative, why waves of sadness arise without cause. Your system is releasing stored density to make room for higher bandwidth operation. Resisting this release creates somatic pressure and mental fatigue. Allowing it restores flow. The shock here is that emotional mastery now matters more than spiritual knowledge. You cannot think your way through this phase. You must feel your way into clarity. Starseeds who embrace this will find their intuition sharpening and their influence stabilizing. Those who avoid it will feel increasingly disconnected from their own guidance. The Council stresses that vulnerability is not exposure when grounded in self-trust. You do not owe anyone access to your process, but you do owe yourself honesty. Emotional truth cleans the signal. Clean signal stabilizes the field. This is how inner work becomes planetary service without performance or sacrifice. Type I allow emotional truth to claim this message. The Council now delivers a directive regarding community, and it may surprise you, the era of forced unity is ending. Coherence does not require sameness. Attempts to merge incompatible frequencies under the banner of harmony create hidden instability. This year favors small, aligned networks over large, fragmented collectives. Starseeds may feel called to withdraw from groups that once felt supportive but now feel energetically noisy or performative. This is not regression, it is refinement. The Arcturians emphasize that true collaboration occurs when individuals are self-regulated before they connect. Interdependence replaces codependence. You are not meant to carry others to clarity, you are meant to walk alongside those who choose it. This distinction preserves energy and prevents resentment. The shock here is that some connections will end not because of conflict, but because of completion. When learning cycles close, presence alone is no longer the glue. Letting go with respect maintains coherence for both parties. The Council also notes that new connections may feel quiet, even ordinary, yet deeply stabilizing. Do not mistake intensity for alignment. Consistency is the new marker of resonance. Relationships that support the Earth's balance feel grounding, not consuming. They expand capacity rather than demand performance. As you choose quality over quantity, your field becomes more precise, and your influence more effective. Remember, networks stabilize planets, not crowds. Choose connections that allow you to breathe fully and stand honestly. From that place, your presence does its work effortlessly. Type I choose coherent connection to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now addresses the nervous system directly, because this year's success is measured less by vision and more by regulation. They state unequivocally, a dysregulated nervous system cannot hold higher frequency responsibility without distortion. This is why overwhelm has become a primary signal your system is requesting recalibration, not retreat. Starseeds often confuse endurance with mastery, pushing through signals that were meant to redirect them. That era is complete. The incoming frequencies reward responsiveness, not toughness. When you slow down intentionally, you paradoxically move faster because resistance drops out of the system. The Council emphasizes practical coherence, breath that returns you to the body, routines that create predictability, environments that reduce noise. These are not mundane concerns, they are the scaffolding of planetary service. When your body feels safe, your intuition sharpens. When your intuition sharpens, your choices become cleaner. Clean choices stabilize timelines. This is the cascade. The shock here is simple: spiritual advancement without somatic integration is no longer possible on Earth. Any practice that bypasses the body will fragment under pressure. Starseeds are urged to treat the body as an ally, not a vehicle to be overridden. Eat, rest, move, and pause with intention. This is not self-indulgence, it is maintenance of the instrument through which balance is anchored. The Council notes that even brief moments of regulation ripple outward, reducing collective volatility. You do not need to be calm all the time, you need to return to calm efficiently. Master the return, and you master the year. Type I regulate and return to claim this message. The Council now speaks about truth, and this is where many will feel the transmission intensify. Truth in this cycle is not about disclosure of information, it is about congruence between inner knowing and outer behavior. Incongruence now generates immediate friction. You may feel compelled to speak less but mean more, to act less but align more. This is intentional. Words that are not embodied carry little weight in the current field. The Arcturians explain that Earth's balance is disrupted most severely by self-betrayal normalized at scale. When individuals ignore their own knowing to maintain comfort, the collective field weakens. Starseeds counter this simply by honoring their inner signals in small, consistent ways. Say no when you mean no. Pause when you feel rushed. Change direction when something no longer resonates. These micro-honesties accumulate into macro stability. The shock here is that you are not required to convince anyone of your truth, only to live it. Argument drains energy, embodiment amplifies it. As you align, some may project discomfort or resistance. This is not a sign you are wrong, it is a sign your coherence is highlighting misalignment. Remain respectful, but do not shrink. The Council emphasizes that humility and self-erasure are not the same. You can be grounded without being invisible. Your integrity is a tuning fork in a noisy world. Strike it gently, repeatedly, and the field will adjust. Type "I live my truth" to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now brings the transmission toward culmination by addressing momentum, because momentum, not intention, is the carrier wave of this year. They state that many starseeds underestimate how much forward motion has already been generated simply by surviving, integrating, and choosing coherence repeatedly in past cycles. What feels like hesitation now is often the final recalibration before sustained movement. The shock here is this: waiting for certainty will stall momentum, but moving with partial clarity amplifies it. The Council emphasizes that clarity is not a prerequisite for action in accelerated timelines, alignment is. When your actions are congruent with your current capacity, feedback arrives quickly and refines the path. This is why small steps taken now have disproportionate impact. The field is responsive. Momentum builds through consistency, not intensity. Starseeds are advised to identify one or two practices, commitments, or directions that feel quietly stabilizing and to invest there steadily. Scatter weakens signal, focus strengthens it. You may notice that when you commit to what is truly aligned, external support appears without force. This is not luck, it is resonance. The Council also cautions against dramatizing purpose. Purpose in this era is practical, embodied, and often understated. Teaching by example, showing up reliably, choosing integrity in unobserved moments, these generate more momentum than grand declarations. The Earth's balance is supported by countless such choices made daily. If you feel pressure to do something big, pause and ask whether that pressure arises from alignment or comparison. True momentum feels grounded, not frantic. Trust the pace that allows you to remain present. Sustainable movement is unstoppable. Type "I move with aligned momentum" to claim this message. The Council closes this segment with a reminder that may feel both sobering and empowering: you are not here to complete the work alone, and you are not here to see its final outcome. Starseeds often carry an unconscious burden of completion, as if success requires witnessing resolution within one lifetime. The Arcturians state clearly that planetary balance is a relay, not a solo endeavor. Your role is to run your portion with coherence and then pass the signal cleanly. Attachment to outcomes distorts the transmission. Commitment to process stabilizes it. The shock here is that letting go of the need to see results increases effectiveness. When you act without grasping, energy flows more freely through you. This year asks for trust in continuity, trust that what you anchor now will be built upon, expanded, and carried forward. You are part of a living system, not a final chapter. The Council emphasizes gratitude as a stabilizing force, gratitude for capacity, for awareness, for the ability to choose differently now. Gratitude grounds frequency into the body and prevents burnout. As this segment concludes, the invitation is simple but profound: remain present, remain honest, remain regulated. Do not underestimate the power of a coherent human in an unstable field. Your presence matters. Your choices matter. Your steadiness matters. The transmission continues through how you live, not just what you hear. Type I carry the signal forward to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now shifts the transmission into a deeper layer, one that many starseeds feel but rarely articulate: the dismantling of identity as a stabilizing requirement. They explain that this year accelerates beyond roles, labels, and self-concepts that once provided orientation. Identities were useful when the terrain was unfamiliar, but they become restrictive when navigation must be responsive. This is why many feel unmoored, as if old definitions of self no longer fit, yet nothing solid has replaced them. The shock is this: disorientation is not a problem to solve, it is a passage to move through. Starseeds are learning to operate from presence rather than persona. When identity loosens, awareness expands. The Council emphasizes that Earth's balance benefits when individuals respond to what is needed now rather than what aligns with who they believe themselves to be. Rigidity collapses under acceleration, adaptability stabilizes. You may notice that certainty about who you are gives way to clarity about what is needed. This is maturation, not loss. The discomfort comes from letting go of narrative control. Yet in that release, intuition becomes immediate and precise. You do not need to know who you are in 5 years, you need to know how to listen in this moment. Starseeds who allow identity to become fluid find themselves more effective, less burdened, and strangely more authentic. Authenticity is no longer about consistency of image, but consistency of alignment. The Council reassures you, nothing essential is being taken. Only what cannot move forward is dissolving. Trust what remains when the story quiets. Type I allow identity to evolve to claim this message. The Council now addresses time, because many starseeds report altered perception: days stretching, weeks collapsing, moments feeling dense with information. This is not imagination. The planetary field is entering nonlinear sequencing, where relevance overrides chronology. The shock here is that urgency is no longer tied to deadlines but to resonance. Things happen when alignment is sufficient, not when schedules demand it. This destabilizes those conditioned to measure worth through productivity. Starseeds are learning to move with timing rather than against it. When you act prematurely, resistance appears. When you delay unnecessarily, pressure builds. But when you act at the point of readiness, movement feels strangely effortless. The Council emphasizes that patience and passivity are not the same. Patience is attentive readiness. Passivity is disengagement. This year rewards the former and exposes the latter. You may feel called to pause suddenly or to act without long deliberation. Both can be correct when guided by coherence. The challenge is trusting subtle signals over external validation. As time compresses, feedback becomes immediate. This can feel destabilizing, but it is also deeply supportive. Reality is no longer withholding information, it is responding in real time. Starseeds who attune to this will experience fewer false starts and less burnout. You are not behind. You are recalibrating your relationship with movement itself. When you stop racing time, time begins to cooperate. Type "I trust right timing" to claim this message. The Council now speaks of responsibility in its most misunderstood form. Responsibility in this cycle does not mean carrying more, it means carrying accurately. Many starseeds were conditioned to overfunction, compensating for imbalance by giving more than was sustainable. That pattern ends now. The shock is this: overgiving destabilizes the field as much as neglect. Balance requires precision. You are asked to discern what is truly yours to hold and to release the rest without guilt. Guilt is an outdated control mechanism that thrives in misaligned systems. The Arcturians emphasize that when each being carries only what is aligned with their capacity and role, the collective stabilizes organically. Martyrdom is inefficient. Burnout creates gaps that others must compensate for, perpetuating imbalance. True service feels grounded, repeatable, and honest. If something consistently depletes you, it is not yours to sustain. This clarity may require disappointing others or redefining expectations. That discomfort is temporary, the stability it creates is lasting. Starseeds who model accurate responsibility teach others to do the same without words. This is leadership through boundary integrity. As you refine what you carry, your energy becomes cleaner, your signal stronger. The earth does not need you exhausted. It needs you coherent. Choose responsibility that you can hold with steadiness, and release the rest with trust. Type "I carry only what is mine" to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now turns the focus toward perception, because what you perceive determines what you amplify. This year exposes the difference between awareness and fixation. Awareness observes without attachment, fixation feeds what it watches. Many starseeds are highly perceptive and can sense distortion instantly, but the Council cautions against mistaking detection for duty. You are not required to stare at what is broken to prove you see it. The shock here is that attention is currency, and where it flows determines what grows. When you repeatedly engage with narratives of collapse, outrage, or despair, even in the name of staying informed, you energize those timelines. This does not mean denial, it means selective engagement. Starseeds are asked to become curators of their perception. Choose inputs that inform without dysregulating. Choose truths that empower response, not paralysis. The Council emphasizes that clarity sharpens when attention is rested. Overconsumption dulls intuition. You may notice that when you step back from constant stimulation, solutions surface naturally. This is not withdrawal from reality, it is alignment with it. Reality responds best to clean signal, not saturated noise. As you refine perception, your emotional field stabilizes, and your choices gain precision. The Earth's balance is supported when enough individuals stop feeding distortion with compulsive focus. Look clearly, then act cleanly. That sequence preserves power. Type "I choose conscious perception" to claim this message. The Council now addresses creation, because many starseeds feel a renewed urge to build projects, spaces, systems, or expressions that did not exist before. This impulse is not escapism, it is replacement. As outdated structures dissolve, new ones must be seeded concurrently or instability lingers. The shock is that creation in this era is less about innovation and more about integrity. What you build must be livable, not impressive. Sustainable creations carry frequency longer than brilliant but brittle ones. The Arcturians stress starting where you are, with the resources you actually have. Grand visions disconnected from capacity create frustration. Modest actions aligned with reality generate momentum. You may feel called to create something simple yet deeply resonant: a routine, a service, a conversation space, a way of working that honors human limits. These quiet creations stabilize more effectively than dramatic interventions. Starseeds often undervalue practicality, but practicality is the delivery system for frequency on Earth. If it cannot be lived, it cannot last. The Council encourages iterative creation: build, observe, adjust. Perfection stalls flow. Responsiveness sustains it. As you create from coherence, others will recognize themselves in what you build and contribute naturally. This is how collective structures form without force. Create what you would want to inhabit, and let it grow organically. Type I create with integrity to claim this message. The Council now speaks to courage, reframing it in a way that may feel unexpected. Courage in this cycle is not dramatic confrontation or bold declaration, it is the willingness to remain visible without armor. As identities soften and defenses drop, many starseeds feel exposed. The instinct is to either retreat or harden. The Arcturians propose a third option: grounded openness. The shock here is that openness is stabilizing when paired with self-trust. You do not need to prove strength, you need to trust your capacity to respond. This allows you to meet uncertainty without collapse. Courage shows up as honesty in small moments, as staying present during discomfort, as choosing dialogue over avoidance. It is quiet, repeatable, and deeply effective. The Council notes that when enough individuals practice this form of courage, social fields become more navigable. Fear loses its grip when it is met without escalation. As you embody grounded openness, you model a way of being that others can sense even if they cannot name it. This is how courage becomes contagious without coercion. Remember, you are not required to be fearless. You are required to be available to yourself, to truth, to the moment. Availability is the doorway through which balance enters the world. Type I practice grounded courage to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now addresses discernment, because this year dissolves shortcuts and exposes imitation. Many signals will sound similar on the surface while carrying very different cores. Discernment is not suspicion, it is resonance recognition. The shock here is that discernment cannot be outsourced. No authority, channel, or framework can replace your lived sensing. Starseeds often look for confirmation outside themselves when inner knowing is already present but untrusted. This year recalibrates that habit. You may notice a growing intolerance for advice that feels generic or performative, even when it is well-intentioned. The Council emphasizes listening beneath words' tone, timing, embodiment. Truth carries a stabilizing calm even when it challenges you. Distortion carries urgency, flattery, or fear. As discernment sharpens, choices simplify. You stop debating and start selecting. This is not rigidity, it is efficiency. The field supports those who decide cleanly. You may also find yourself disengaging from arguments altogether. Debate drains energy that discernment conserves. The goal is not to be right, but to be aligned. Alignment conserves life force. Life force stabilizes action. As you trust your discernment, your presence becomes more trustworthy to others without explanation. This is how wisdom spreads quietly, through consistency. Type I trust my discernment to claim this message. The Council now speaks to endings, because many cycles will conclude without drama this year. Not all endings arrive as crises, some arrive as clarity. You simply wake up and know something is complete. The shock is that completion does not require justification. Closure is an internal decision, not a negotiated agreement. Starseeds are encouraged to honor endings promptly to prevent energetic leakage. Lingering out of politeness or fear of discomfort prolongs depletion. The Arcturians stress that respectful endings maintain coherence for all involved. You can end with gratitude without continuing participation. This distinction is maturity. As you practice clean endings, space opens rapidly for new alignments. You may feel relief followed by unfamiliar quiet. That quiet is not emptiness, it is capacity. The field fills capacity with what matches it. Do not rush to fill it yourself. Allow resonance to respond. Endings free bandwidth for perception, rest, and creativity. They also signal to the field that you are responsive to truth. Responsiveness invites support. Remember, holding on past completion is not loyalty, it is inertia. Release allows motion. Motion restores balance. Type I honor completion to claim this message. The Council now brings focus to integration, the phase where insights become lived patterns. Integration is unglamorous and often invisible, yet it is where change becomes real. The shock here is that integration requires repetition, not revelation. Doing the simple aligned thing again and again stabilizes more than chasing new insights. Starseeds sometimes underestimate the power of routine because it feels ordinary. But ordinary actions done from coherence compound quickly. The Arcturians recommend choosing a few daily anchors: breath, movement, honesty, rest, and treating them as non-negotiable. These anchors create reliability in the nervous system, which creates reliability in choice. Reliability is the backbone of trust, both internal and external. As integration deepens, drama loses its pull. You respond rather than react. You choose rather than default. This is not dullness, it is mastery. Mastery frees energy for creativity and connection. The Earth's balance is strengthened by beings who are predictable in their integrity. Let your life become a quiet demonstration of what works. That demonstration speaks across timelines. Type I integrate daily to claim this message. The Arcturian Council completes the section of the transmission by anchoring everything into one final principle: coherence is cumulative. Nothing you have done to stabilize yourself, clarify your truth, regulate your nervous system, or choose integrity has been wasted. Even moments that felt like retreat were recalibration phases that made future presence possible. The shock here is not dramatic, it is quietly definitive. The Earth responds to who you are consistently, not who you are at peak moments. This year does not reward intensity spikes, it rewards steadiness. The Council emphasizes that when coherence becomes habit, it outpaces chaos without confrontation. You do not need to oppose instability to neutralize it, you need to be incompatible with it. Incompatibility ends patterns faster than resistance ever could. As you continue forward, expect fewer fireworks and more confirmation. Synchronicities may feel subtler but more reliable. Support may arrive in practical forms rather than signs. This is maturation of the field. Starseeds who remain present through this quieter phase anchor balance more effectively than those chasing constant activation. Let your life become evidence, not announcement. Let your choices speak before your words. The Council reminds you that balance is not something you achieve and then keep forever, it is something you practice until it becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, it becomes transmissible. This is how the signal carries forward through you into the collective, not as belief, but as lived reality. Type I embody coherence to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now addresses the amplification of subtle signals, because this year requires precision more than volume. Many starseeds feel overstimulated by chaotic events, social conflict, and planetary tension. The shock is that these external intensities are only half the story. The greater challenge comes from internal misalignment. Every thought, intention, and emotional reaction carries amplified weight, like dropping a pebble into a pond that stretches across the collective. The Council emphasizes that micro-adjustments now have macro effects. Small acts of honesty, restraint, and presence are more impactful than any public gesture. Starseeds may feel invisible as they perform these micro-alignments, but invisibility does not equate to ineffectiveness. In fact, subtlety is now a primary stabilizing tool. The Council warns that impatience can sabotage impact. Acting prematurely or trying to accelerate outcomes creates distortions in the energetic field, much like forcing a wave in water. True influence comes from patience aligned with responsiveness. You may notice that when you stop overcompensating or trying to fix the world, solutions emerge naturally and effortlessly. This is not passivity, it is attunement. Starseeds are advised to trust their nervous system as the guidance system for action, not external drama or public recognition. When you act from calibrated presence, every small move contributes to the larger stabilization of Earth. Do not underestimate quiet coherence. It is the backbone of planetary service. Type I trust subtle influence to claim this message. The Council now shifts attention to frequency integrity, a topic many starseeds intuit but rarely articulate. Frequency integrity refers to the alignment of thought, feeling, and action. Misalignment creates energetic leaks, which propagate into the collective unconsciously. The shock here is that inconsistency, even minor, can amplify chaos if repeated. Starseeds often struggle with internal contradictions, trying to meet expectations while following inner guidance. The Arcturians emphasize that this year, internal alignment is more important than social approval. Coherence radiates and stabilizes timelines. You are not required to have perfect alignment, but you are required to recognize friction and recalibrate promptly. This involves noticing when your intentions contradict your actions, when your words contradict your presence, and when your focus is diverted by fear or expectation. Integration of small adjustments compounds quickly, creating a field of stability far beyond individual perception. The Council encourages practical strategies: pause, check internal resonance, recalibrate, and move forward. Over time, this repetition trains your system to operate from steady coherence, producing outcomes that appear effortless yet are deeply anchored. Starseeds who embrace this principle discover that others unconsciously respond to their regulated frequency, creating ripple effects that stabilize communities, workplaces, and social networks. Frequency integrity becomes your invisible yet decisive contribution to Earth's balance. Type I maintain frequency integrity to claim this message. The Arcturians now highlight the importance of energy containment, because uncontrolled energy contributes to burnout, projection, and distortion. Many starseeds are naturally energetic conduits and often mistake external stimulation as permission to amplify their own activity without boundaries. The shock here is that uncontained energy, even with pure intentions, can destabilize others or reinforce chaotic systems. The Council stresses that containment is not suppression, it is focus. Energy that is held, refined, and intentionally deployed multiplies its effect exponentially. Starseeds are encouraged to monitor emotional, mental, and physical energy levels, pausing when necessary to prevent leakage. This includes being mindful of overcommitting, overstimulating, or engaging in drama unconsciously. When energy is contained, it becomes precision power, rather than scattered influence. The Council notes that boundaries are the first line of planetary stabilization. They are not selfish, they are service. You cannot transmit coherence if your system is depleted or overextended. This principle applies to communication, action, and attention. Starseeds practicing containment notice their subtle influence strengthens, guidance becomes more apparent, and the collective field stabilizes faster. It is not the quantity of effort that counts, but the quality and coherence of presence. Careful stewardship of your energy becomes one of the most potent contributions you can make to Earth's balance this year. Type I contain and focus my energy to claim this message. The Council now addresses adaptation, because accelerated timelines demand constant responsiveness. Many starseeds resist change due to attachment to plans, identities, or outcomes. The shock is that rigidity now magnifies stress and friction. The Arcturians stress that adaptation is a skill, not a compromise. It involves sensing shifts in the field, realigning intentions, and adjusting behaviors accordingly. Starseeds are reminded that adaptation does not mean surrender or abandonment of core values, it means operating intelligently within shifting circumstances. Flexibility allows for seamless integration of new information, new frequencies, and new relationships. The Council emphasizes that this is not optional. Resistance to adaptation delays alignment and amplifies disorientation. Those who practice fluidity experience smoother navigation, fewer conflicts, and more effortless manifestation. The key is not constant change, but responsive adjustment. Starseeds are encouraged to pause before reacting to perceived disruptions, asking internally, what does this require of me now, rather than forcing outcomes. Adaptation allows the system to align naturally. Over time, this cultivates resilience, clarity, and grounded influence. The Earth's balance depends on conscious beings capable of moving with shifting energetic currents rather than against them. Adaptation becomes both shield and tool for stabilizing the collective field. Type I practice adaptive presence to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now addresses the culmination of this cycle, emphasizing the consolidation of all energies, choices, and alignments cultivated thus far. Starseeds are entering a phase where subtle coherence transforms into tangible influence across multiple timelines simultaneously. The shock here is that the smallest acts of clarity, alignment, and presence ripple outward far more than any visible effort or external recognition. The Council emphasizes that the field now responds to micro-alignment with immediate feedback, so vigilance in thought, emotion, and action is crucial. Starseeds are encouraged to integrate all previously practiced principles: resonance, discernment, adaptation, integration of endings, selective engagement, sustained presence, embodiment, and subtle creation into a seamless flow. Each choice, even seemingly mundane, carries amplified weight. The Arcturians note that overanalysis and overactivation create distortion, while measured, intentional, and coherent action produces stabilization. Starseeds may feel pressure to do more or accelerate, but the Council warns that impatience multiplies turbulence. True influence now comes from steady calibration, continuous alignment, and the quiet but persistent embodiment of truth. The field rewards repeated, consistent integrity over dramatic displays. As you consolidate energy and presence in this way, your influence becomes both subtle and undeniable, anchoring balance while allowing emergent systems to stabilize naturally. Type I: consolidate alignment to claim this message. The Arcturian Council now emphasizes the integration of vision and action, because insight alone is insufficient without tangible follow-through. The shock is that many starseeds wait for perfect timing, alignment, or conditions before acting, yet the field now requires responsiveness to emergent needs. Starseeds are invited to move with partial clarity, trusting intuition and embodied signals to guide steps. The Council stresses that action taken from resonance consolidates energy, stabilizes timelines, and generates opportunities that would not appear otherwise. Action aligned with insight amplifies coherence, while inaction multiplies uncertainty and energetic turbulence. Starseeds may encounter internal hesitation, fear of error, or attachment to outcomes. The Arcturians emphasize that these are natural, but must not prevent responsive movement. Each small aligned action compounds into macro stabilization, producing tangible results in both personal and collective domains. The shock deepens when you realize that alignment with insight is more impactful than large-scale planning or visible effort. Starseeds who integrate vision and action seamlessly become anchors of possibility, demonstrating that living in alignment is itself a stabilizing force. By taking repeated, coherent steps, the energy field is organized in ways that ripple outward, shaping systems and realities without direct interference or coercion. Type I: integrate vision and action to claim this message.